Hi Leos, this is your November 2018 reading. Leos, the month of November is the month of giving birth. The last year and a half, we've been having North Node in Leo with a lot of focus on your path and where you're going. When North Node or Rahu enters our sign for the first time in 19 years, it shifts our path. It puts us to the destiny we are supposed to go to, and in the process of that, it brings about certain karmic events that sort of force us to release old way of being, that makes us release old relationships, old places of work, old careers even, and removes the dependencies that we have emotionally on other people so we can become more self-sufficient. Because North Node in Leo wants you to shine. It wants you to become who you truly are and show to the world your true colors and come out with your full colors to the world and sort of become a leader of your domain. It does not want you to hide in the shadows. It does not want you to hide in a crowd. So over the last year and a half, you've been having eclipses in North Node in Leo, and that is coming to a conclusion with a configuration that is initiating on 6th of November and will end with your last eclipse in your sign on 21st of January 2018. And this is coming with a bit of surprises because Uranus is squaring this configuration, which means that a series of karmic events will happen which will sort of help you in this final birth. You are sort of in a process of last few months of giving birth. You're sort of having the apprehensions of moving ahead. You're still wanting to stick to the old life, but it's sort of like things have already taken course. Things have already set to motion. Things are moving now fast, and you'll see them moving really fast over the next 2.5 months, finally concluding to 21st of January eclipse, when things just come out. They just move. You're shifted into a new reality from January, and next year will be all about nurturing this new reality and bringing your new goals to fruition. This is not what is the only thing that is happening, because this year you have been fully triggered. All of your critical accesses were triggered this year. This is one of those rare years. 2018 was one of those rare years when all of your 4 critical accesses of work, of family, of home, of career, they were all triggered together through very, very big changes. This is a year of big changes, and you're sort of bringing that home by the end of this year. We'll talk about it more in the December video, which I'm going to prepare as well soon after this one. But essentially, last 6 months, you have been working very, very hard on your relationships, on your partnerships. You're either forging a partnership, a new partnership, or you're sort of improving upon an existing partnership, and that has been taking a lot of your energy. It has been taking a lot of your work, a lot of your emotional energy, especially because it is opposing you. So it is a drain on your health. It is a drain on your physical body, but at the same time, it is something that you're sort of setting for life. Mars only spends normally 40 days in a house. It has spent 6 months in your partnership sector. That is coming to a conclusion in the middle of this month. That will ease things in your relationships for you. To top it all up, Venus for the last 2 months has been sitting in your home and family sector, retrograde in October, which is sort of digging in deep and bringing out issues with your home and family, and especially with respect to your parents or with your mother or your place of living. Your home repairs have been taking a lot of, or the place of living has been taking a lot of your energy. Jupiter was also there for the whole of last year, so there have been issues that have been coming to open with your in your emotional life, in your family life, in your close-knit inner world. Essentially, your emotional foundations have been shaken to some extent over the course of last 1 year, and that is all coming to a conclusion in the middle of this year when Venus moves out of retrograde and Jupiter is moving into the most beautiful place in your chart. It is moving into your house of joy. Jupiter expands and blesses whatever it touches, and it is coming into your house of joy and passion. So the next year is going to be infused with joy and passion, and it is ringing that in the middle of this month. You'll start feeling the energy ease out starting from 16th all the way to 22nd, when Sun, your ruler, will also join Jupiter in this house of joy and passion and fun, and bringing in sort of the holiday season, right? From 22nd of November with Thanksgiving, it is sort of the joy coming back home, and you'll feel the energy to give birth to something. You'll feel the positivity to give birth to something and move into this new phase of life. This configuration that is getting initiated on 6th of November that I spoke about, which is about your career and moving into a new life, you have some resistance to move to at the start of this month. Even till the middle of this month, you have sort of an inertia to move into this new life that is going to evolve and change over the coming month, because this T-square that Uranus is making with the karmic nodes is becoming a cardinal T-square over the course of this month. By the end of November, it will be a cardinal T-square. Cardinal T-square wants to initiate something new. It wants to end a cycle, initiate something, start and move and jump into starting its new life. So the inertia or the resistance to let go of the old, and still this thought process that is coming and going in your head that no, maybe the old way of being was still better, I was easy over there, life was easier in that way, all of that will go away by the end of November as you would be ready to take action. Uranus is dipping back in Aries to give you the impetus to end the old cycle. It is a very impulsive energy, but it is very much required to sort of take the leap and jump out of your old life into the new one, which you'll have to initiate in January. And then 2019 is all about nurturing this dream, nurturing this new start, and making sure that you're taking care of yourself in the process and not giving too much of yourselves to other. Considering where we are in the month, and I'm really sorry for doing this late because I had to take a little bit of break in between readings. So I'll start from where we are right now. I'm recording this on 10th of November. You've just had a new moon. The new moon this month on 7th of November was in your house of home and family. So the focus is very much on your home and family. As I said, Venus has been there for the last 2 months. Jupiter has spent almost a whole year over there. And Jupiter in Scorpio is all about bringing out issues. So it has been bringing out issues in your home and family life. It has been bringing out issues with your mother. It has been bringing out issues with respect to your emotional fulfillment. Are you saying what you truly need from the people in your life? Are you able to express yourself clearly and say clearly what you want from them? All of that has been coming to focus over the last 1 year, and now this is sort of a new start, a conclusion of it all, and saying this is a new way of being in my home and family. This is how I want to be with them. This is how I want to spell out what I need. You sort of perfected that to some extent through the turbulence of the last 2 months, especially where you have had a lot of personal conflicts. You have a lot of conflicts where things that you were not saying for a long time in your personal relationships have come out. It has challenged your authority. It has challenged your ego, because you have been forced to sort of say things that you normally, because of your because of you being Leos are like kings. They do not want to show weakness. So to some extent it's brought you over the last 2 months to a place where you had to say that I need this, and this is something that is not easy for Leos to do. To say that I need something in my personal life or in a relationship with somebody is not the easiest thing for Leos to do. But to some extent, this extended focus on your emotional foundations has brought you to a place where you can spell it out, you can say it. There were 4 planets in October focused on your emotional stability, on your psychological stability, on your ability to create a emotional foundation, because foundations have to be made very strong right now, because you're making a career on top of it. There's a whole amount of change happening on the top of your chart in your career, in your place in the world, and you're making completely new things on the top. For that, you have to make a very solid foundation. So this month you're concluding that building of the strong foundation with your home and family, so you can build on top of that a very unique and different destiny in the world. You're sort of shaking it all up, because Uranus is going to spend 7 years in your career house. It's going to bring about freedom, it's going to bring about innovation, it's going to bring about a complete change of way of being with authority fingers, complete change of way of being at work in your life. So while it's shaking that up at the top and bringing about changes, the much needed changes there, which you'll see outwardly in January. While all of that is happening, your base needs to be strong, and that is what is getting triggered around 7th of November all the way to 23rd of November, when you're sort of building this new foundation, this new way of being with your family, with the people you love, with the people who are very, very core to you, who emotionally fulfill you. It is going to square you. It is in hard aspect with you, as it has been squaring you for the last couple of months. So it is hard work. When Sun squares us, our ego and our authority is challenged. There are arguments, there are goals that are tested, there is ego that is tested in the process. But it's only when something is squaring us, something is in hard aspect to us, that real breakthroughs happen, that real progress happens. And you'll see real progress happen because of a difficult aspect happening during this new moon. So you would have felt very, very emotional over the last couple of days, because new moon is a very, very very emotional time for Leos. Your sun ruled sign, and over 7th to 9th of November you would have felt like that. But just beware that this aspect is becoming into a trine from 22nd of November. So from 22nd of November, this energy is easing out. This is new infusion of energy which is happening through conflicts, which is happening through issues coming in your family life. This is coming through a test. But Venus in 3rd house, which is easing your courage, you're sort of digging in deep and finding courage to make this change. You're finding courage to say the things that you need to say, because Venus in 3rd in retrograde wants you to say what you truly mean. And because it's in Libra, Venus is in Libra this month, this communication comes out in a way which is in harmony with each other. It's about building relationship versus destroying them. So this new moon energy from 7th to 23rd of November is a great time to airing out issues in your personal life. It is a great time to airing out issues in your partnership, of saying what you truly mean. On commercial level, it is a great time to sort of make the pitches that you truly mean as well, that you want to make to your superiors, to your clients. Commercially, excellent time, especially before 16th or 17th of November, because energy will ease out after 16th or 17th of energy overall, but at the same time energy will ease out commercially as well. From business aspect also, there's a cooling down period in the market from 16th of November to 6th of December, when Mercury, the planet that rules our business communication, is going retrograde. So it's better to do any business communication ahead of 16th of November. And to top it all up, Mercury in 5th, it sort of helps you in self-expression. It is about finding humor in the situations. It's about finding pleasure with your children, finding some creative outlet to all this stress that you've been feeling, spending time with your children, spending time with your loved ones, spending time doing something childlike, like a hobby. Even though goals are being challenged right now, because of being in this mentally joyful place, which is going to increase over the course of this month, you'll be ready to take certain big risks. In this time, new moon comes with a sense of bringing you inner security. This new moon wants to infuse authentic, true inner security in you. You are seeking that for the last couple of months. It has stirred up activity, and it has caused active reactions, but at the same time it is the way of looking for emotional support from your family, and you're sort of seeking that. You need that right now. You are seeking emotional peace of mind right now, and that is infused with this beautiful new moon, which is very deep, very soulful. It will continue to infuse that. At the very least, the first 10 days of the new moon, you feel it very strongly. So up until 17th of November, you'll feel this infusion of fresh energy, of you seeking peace, you seeking emotional stability, you seeking emotional depth with your family. Sometimes it is forced upon us that sometimes this happens by force, like there's some stresses that are brought about, which make us spend more time at home, make us more time with our parents, make us spend more time with our family, with our mother, for example. Or we just have to make some improvements at home, making some new personal space, just changing the house, clearing out the house, removing clutter, and bonding with the family. Changes at home might come up, like improving something in the home, or maybe a new proposition in terms of buying a new house, especially if you have planets between 10 to 20 degree of Leo, or if you're born between 2nd to 12th of August. Any new purchases in terms of the house, any big investments in the home area are better left to December, especially middle of December, when Mercury is direct and Jupiter is sort of visible. So it is a better time to take a risk, better time to invest in something. But this is a great time to evaluate options from a real estate perspective. It is a great time to evaluate changes in the house or improvements in the house, even renegotiation of lease. This is an excellent time to do that. Renegotiate existing property terms, existing refinancing terms, lease terms, all of that. This new moon up until 22nd or 23rd of November are great time to do that. Especially if you have any negotiations, 11th or 12th of November are great days to do negotiation. You'll be able to be very, very strong in terms of asking what you want, very effective in asking what you truly want, and just taking care of yourself. The next couple of months, when next couple of days, when new moon happens in our emotional core, this is about taking care of your needs. It's about taking care of your and your family and your needs versus others. So you're sort of creating a cocoon and taking care of your needs, your family, and enjoying with your family to some extent. There are certain long tenor transits, 2019 transits, that are getting triggered in November as well. There are two key changes. The most of the effect of those will come in 2019, but especially the first change that I'm going to talk about. But the second change, which is Jupiter moving into Sagittarius, you'll start seeing the positive effects of that starting from end of this month itself, because Jupiter, as soon as it enters Sagittarius, where it is really happy, and Jupiter brings luck, expansion, it immediately is giving you some fruits of that at the end of this month. So let's talk about the first change quickly, and I'll talk about them in more details in my 2019 video. The first change is that North Node is shifting from North Node in Leo into North Node in Cancer. That is happening in this month, and that change will be in effect till about May of 2020. So it's a 1.5 year transit, whereby eclipses from next year will start happening in the sign of Cancer and Capricorn. And this is ending a 1.5 year cycle of North Node in Leo, with the last eclipse happening in your sign in January, on 21st of January. This is sort of ending in a cycle of shifting you, bringing you into a new career, bringing you into a new reality, bringing you closer to your goals, bringing you into a more self-sufficient cycle, where you're more self-sufficient in all ways, emotionally, financially, professionally. It was essentially being you. It was removing your dependency on others and being who you truly are, saying your piece, being the true leader that you were born to be, and not being in shadows. You sort of were woken up to your purpose, but from next year, especially after your eclipse in January, you're sort of moving to a phase of time of faith. 2019 is more about, I call it God's timing. It's about believing in God's timing. Once you have sort of put the seeds, you have put the work to shift it, you have made the change, you will of course be working hard on this new career. You'll be of course be working hard of this new way of being, whether it is a shift in your work partnerships you have done, or a shift in your personal partnership, personal relationship, a committed relationship that you have let go. And because you want to be independent, you want to be on your own, you want to make a name for yourself, you want to be the person that you were born to be. Whichever whichever of the two changes you have done, whether in your personal life or work life, next year it will be more about taking care of that new vision, this new world you have created, and nurturing it, because that's what Cancer does. The sign North Node in Cancer nurtures our dream, but at the same time it is the time of faith. It is the time of believing that you have made this change because they were part of your destiny, and letting go a little bit of control and letting destiny take over. Let destiny take its course. It's about faith. It's about faith in yourself, faith in higher powers, and sort of losing a little bit of control from the situation, working hard in your day-to-day, working hard in your routines, but giving it all selflessly, giving it input selflessly. Especially if you're starting something of your own, it is the time to give selflessly and leave the results, leave the outcome to fate to some extent. This is the first change that is happening. The second change, as I talked about, which is extremely powerful, and it will help you in your faith area, is that Jupiter is moving into Sagittarius after 12 years. Jupiter was last there in 2007, so you can look back at your life in 2007. What were the kind of changes that came about in your life? Jupiter is moving into your house, fifth house. That's the house of joy. It is going to expand your joy. I have no other way of saying it. It's about expansion of joy and luck, because it's coming into sort of, we call it in Vedic, it is called Purva karma. So it is the karma of past life, which is sort of coming to fruition. It is coming to your life. It is positivity that for which you've worked very hard in your past life, or maybe even in this life. All the work that you've done, it is finally sort of paying off in some way. It is karmic retribution of all the work you've done so far, and Jupiter is blessing you with it. What is even more beautiful is that Jupiter trines you in this. It is in positive aspect with you, so it's sort of this good luck, this good fortune, this happiness and joy sort of flows to you in 2019. And it comes with a birth. It is sort of a house of birth. You're giving birth to something, and Jupiter is giving you the confidence as well as the opportunity to give birth to something new. And this new is an area of, it could be a child, it could be an actual child that you're giving birth to, it could be creativity that you're giving birth to, a creative venture that you're giving birth to, or it could be a business in which you're taking a little bit of risk on yourself. You're going after your passion and taking a risk on something, whether it is in your love life or in your business. You're sort of taking a risk on having faith in your luck, having faith in yourself, having faith in your destiny, and taking a risk. And Jupiter is going to reward risk taking in 2019 for you. This is the time of taking personal risk. It's the time of taking business risk. It's the time of going out and doing something on pure faith in 2019. So these are key changes. They're getting triggered off in November. Especially the Jupiter will be meeting Mercury and Sun on 27th of November itself. So you'll feel the effect of this change coming about very potently in this month and in December itself. But North Node in Cancer, in my view, is more directional. You sort of, it's a way of being that is getting shifted right now. The true effect of that, in my view, will happen in mid of next year, after the effect of your last eclipse, which is the final shift in your career, the final shift in way of being has happened, and then it becomes a time of faith. So I think these are two key changes. Now let's shift back to what's happening in this second half of the month. The second half of the month, especially 15th of November, a lot of changes between 15th and 16th of November are getting triggered. The first change that is happening is that Mars is moving finally out of your partnership sector on 15th of November. Mars has been sitting there for the last 6 months. It has been creating issues, conflicts, pressure on you, physical pressure on you, getting on your nerves to some extent. This was about sort of working hard on your partnership. It was working hard on your committed relationships. It was working hard on forging probably some new business partnerships or new clients for you. And now that cycle is sort of coming to an end. It's one of those rare years where half of the year Mars was in one sign. It doesn't happen normally. This has happened after 9 years that Mars was in your partnership sector. So you would have forged certain way of being in a partnership for longer term for yourself. Now, once that has happened, Mars, just before it changes sign, before it moves into Uranus, or moves into Pisces on 15th of November, it is making a contact with Uranus for the last time on 13th of November. And this last contact with Uranus is sort of the last hurrah, saying that I'm taking the last tough step to break free. If it's boldness, it's sort of out of character, but you are finally just getting one side or the other with a partnership. You've been thinking about it, you've been trying to make a change in partnership, you have done the requisite steps. All summer, Mars and Uranus have been fighting with each other, which is breakaway, conflicts, abrupt action, sort of breaking away from old partners, or just strife in partnerships, which has been happening. May, August, September, 3 times these two planets have clashed with each other. Now finally, 13th of November, they're meeting in harmony to decide the forward course in your partnership. It's either here or there. Around 13th to 15th of November, you're either here or there with that partnership. That is happening in the middle of the month. Then the second thing, obviously Mars then moves out of here. The forward focus now, after you've sort of decided which way to go in the partnership, is to work on the proceeds of this partnership, is to decide how this will go going forward. So after 15th of November all the way to end of the month, end of year, till 31st of December, you're sort of working on the terms of this partnership. Whether it is a business partnership, then you're working on the financial aspect of it, how the financial proceeds of this partnership would work. If it is a personal committed partnership, then this is about intimacy. It's about intimacy and how the intimacy will evolve in this partnership going forward. There is, when Mars moves into our 8th house, which is happening from 15th of November up until 31st of December, we do end some things, because it's the house of it's called a little death. So it's about ending something. When you are moving into a new phase of partnership, you're moving into a new personal reality, especially, you sort of are ending something. So it's something that had to end. You have had a long time to think about. You have had a long time to adjust to it, and there's no conflict in this ending. There is no, to some extent, even remorse in this ending, because this is ending of a karmic relationship or a karmic bonding to an old partnership, or a karmic bond that you were feeling. It's like an addictive nature. This bond had an addictive nature, and it had to end. And you knew it had to end. So it is sort of ending that cycle. Not on 14th or 15th of November, but it is in course of 15th of November to the end of the year. You'll be ending this old karmic ties with somebody. The second thing that happens, which is beautiful for our personal relationships and overall for our heart, is that Venus goes direct on 16th of November. And it is going direct in the most harmonious sign of Libra, and it's going direct on a beautiful star of Spica. Spica touches anything and makes it brilliant. So if there was a stalemate in terms of your work relationship, or in terms of your relationship with your colleagues, or friction with somebody at work that you've been facing over the last 2.5 months, that finally comes to a conclusion after 16th of November, and it comes to a more creative and harmonious solution on 16th of November. But on 16th of November, Mercury, the planet that rules our intelligent mind and our business communication, goes retrograde. From 16th of November to 6th of December is sort of a downtime in terms of business communication. It is more a time to review old business communication, old thinking, old projects, revising old projects versus initiating a new one. Similarly, if you have any travel which is planned between 16th of November to 6th of December, it is better to just be sure about the planning of it, just be sure in terms of the scheduling of it that it's not too tight. And at the same time, if being flexible, because a lot of people go for holiday travel during this time from 16th of November to 6th of December, just be be flexible in terms of the travel plans at this time. But for you, Mercury is going retrograde in the house of joy and fun. So, specifically for you, it is about reviewing the risk that you might be taking either in your personal life or in your business relationship. So, there is some amount of risk appetite that has come through with Mercury moving into the sign of Sagittarius at the start of the month, and Jupiter moving into Sagittarius as well on 7th or 8th of November. You're sort of ready to take a bit more risk in your personal life and in your business life. And Mercury goes retrograde around 16th of November up until 6th of December to sort of take a look at your risk appetite. How much risk are you ready to take in your personal life and in your business life, and how ready do you feel to do that? It is a review of certain old projects, reviewing old if you've been in that situation previously, just looking at maybe old lovers, maybe old passions to some extent, to see how that went for you, and reviewing your risk appetite in light of that. It is a good time to reconnect with your children, or just with child within you, to awaken the child within you, because this house has been dormant for the last 1 year. There has been very little focus on your house of joy for the last 1 year, with Mercury standing is spending extended period in your house of joy. You're sort of woken up to your old way of being, your old way of being joyful, of being happy, of being engaged in hobbies, in your passions, with your children, with the romance in your life, with the love in your life. It is sort of rekindling the idea of joy and passion in your life up until 6th of December. This is about waking up to the fact that you were made to have, you came here to have fun. You came here to enjoy life. You came here to nurture yourself, nurture your loved ones, and enjoy life. And Jupiter will be spending the whole of next year in that. You're sort of starting slowly a process of transitioning from living into existential crisis, from one existential crisis to another, to enjoying what you have created now and going into a new life passionately. Mercury at this time makes an aspect with Neptune, which makes this a beautiful time for romance, makes it a beautiful time to spend time with your loved ones. But at the same time, Neptune brings down boundaries. So if this is a business risk and a business partnership that you're entering, it's a good time to review the risks that are coming with it. It's a good time to review the fact that, are you getting your fair share in that partnership or not? Are there any gaps in that partnership that are there that you need to remove, especially around 17th of November, when Mercury is meeting Neptune in a hard aspect. You'll be able to see very, very clearly if there is any gap in your current partnership, commercial partnership especially, that you're going through, or if there are any gap in intimacy. This is about proceeds of a partnership. So it's intimacy for personal relationships or money for business partnership. If there are any gaps in that, thinking about it essentially and seeing it clearly, so you can fix those things come December. On 18th of November, we have a beautiful grand trine that is forming between Sun, Chiron, and North Node. This is in the house of endings. So as I mentioned, there are some things probably in your personal relationship that are coming to a conclusion. It is a chance of letting that go lovingly. It's a process. It's essentially a configuration which makes us comfortable with dealing with the process of life and death, or putting to rest an old way of being, of letting go an old life and letting go the old dependency, the karmic dependency that we felt either on an old job or on an old partnership, sort of healing that and moving forward with it. You'll feel that you're ready for your new life after you've gone through this grand trine or 18th or 19th of November. What follows is over the top enthusiasm. It's Thanksgiving coming up on 22nd of November, but ahead of Thanksgiving, Mars is making a tough aspect with Jupiter. This is over the top enthusiasm, and it's not just you, everybody will be feeling this rush of wanting to do something out of character, just taking too much risk, a bit of rash action, too much shopping, blowing away of financials a little bit. This is getting too comfortable, getting too happy, and spending it all. So I'm just warning you, there's that's the I think the most benign thing that can happen, which is that you overspend on your loved ones. Just be careful in terms of rash action at this time. Don't burn out, don't burn a hole in your pocket. It's a very sexual energy as well. This is a daring, courageous and sexual energy, very, very attractive. So enjoying with your loved one, just be careful that it's not becoming over the top, that you're not overreacting, that you're not overspending, and at the same time being careful in terms of being rash physically. Any physical rash action, getting hurt because of physical rash action, driving, etc., just being careful with that. Most of second half of the month is over the top. I'm just letting you know, because there are a lot of squares. Mars is going to square Sun, Mercury is going to square Mars, so there's a lot of rash and over the top action happening in the second half of the month. People are going to be very enthusiastic, people will be saying things. This is a social time, people out and about meeting each other, but at the same time it's very important to just understand that it's that time of the year. People are overexcited, people are sugared up, liquored up, and just take it in stride with that. On 22nd of November, your Sun, your ruler, moves into Sagittarius. It's a beautiful time. When Sun moves into your fellow fire sign Sagittarius, it's the time of joy for you. It's the time of happiness for you. This is the easiest part of the year for you. This is the time when you feel that you can do things, you feel physically vital, you feel positive. It's Thanksgiving, it's the time of giving thanks to your loved ones. You have 3 planets in your house of joy now. You have Mercury, your intelligent mind, Jupiter, expanding your house of joy, Sun, which is giving you the physical vitality to go after the things that you enjoy, love, and be creative. In that, on 23rd of November, we have a full moon in your 11th house of friendship. So at this time, maybe some friend needs your attention. There is a possibility of a conflict even arising with a loved one, with a friend, maybe a bit of an argument or heated argument happening at that time. But it's sort of bringing to conclusion something that needs to be dealt with. It's not a very over the top energy for you. It's just that it needs to be dealt with. Culmination of something, maybe finalizing of something even in your business network, maybe a disagreement in your business network, and something needs to be brought to finality with that. It's just a time to be careful with your words, especially around 23rd, 24th, 25th of November. Be careful, because the tongue, it's not just about you. Everybody will have a little bit of sharp tongue, because Mercury is meeting Mars on 25th of November. So 23rd, 24th, 25th of November, just be careful in terms of passions and agitation being very, very high, impulsiveness being very, very high. Avoid negotiation on 23rd, 24th, 25th of November. You'll have a great time in terms of getting over some conflict, after which a more productive discussion can be had. Be very careful on 24th, 25th of November from driving, even up until I will say 24th to 28th of November. Be careful in driving from 24th to 28th of November. If possible, hand it over to somebody else. I would suggest you to do that. There's a chance of getting nicks and cuts, getting hurt physically a little bit at that time. So just be careful. This it's not something major. It's a short transit. Just be careful of that. On 27th of November is the most beautiful day of the year, because Sun, Jupiter and Mercury, they're coming together in your house of joy. Mercury is right now retrograde, but it's still pure joy. It's positive karma your way. It's the fruit of all that you've been working for the whole year and setting something in motion that you have been looking to have in your life passionately and with love. This is about love. This is about taking a little bit of risk on yourself and going out and having some fun. You're going to see this aspect repeated in December when Mercury will be direct, and I feel that is when the external manifestation of something related to your business, something related to romance comes to true life. But at this stage, you're sort of setting the seed of the next year. You're setting the seed for a very positive 2019 right from the start. At the end of the month, we have the grand square between Venus, Uranus, and North Node, South Node being repeated in the current house. You sort of this is the final hit of Venus Uranus. This is a sudden karmic event that is probably happening in your family life. This is a shift in your family life that is happening in order to help you get to your destiny, it's sort of that you need to be on a path. You've been working for that path for the last 1.5 years, but something in your personal life needs to shift to let you go to this path, and that is the trigger of that. This is the last trigger of that, because we have had this trigger 3 times. This is the 3rd time it's happening. The trigger has been happening over the last 3 months as well. So this is the last trigger. When Venus is direct, there's a resolution to a personal issue, a personal relationship issue. So you can be set free to go on your path. You can be set free to being on your path, to be more independent, to be the person that you came here to be. Thank you so much. I'll be doing your December video fairly soon as well. So we'll be in continuity with this video for the next one. Thank you so much.